Hello everybody, it's Rick. It is September the 4th, 2019. Hope everybody's having a good summer, or had a good summer. Labor Day just passed. If you need to find out how you can receive my paperwork to challenge child support in exchange for a gift, my email is rick.rick0327@me.com. It will be in the description. Okay, I only provide paperwork related to child support. Okay, and I provide a lot of paperwork. A lot. Okay, for the usual gift that I receive, you're getting a lot more. Okay, trust me. I've not received any complaints. Okay, but here's the other part. My videos have the information, and you're gonna have to follow the videos to get the information. I'm not the person that's gonna be walking you through the whole thing. I cannot. Okay, I cannot give legal advice. I'm not a business. I'm not a businessman. I don't have a website. Okay, I volunteer my time by making the videos, and the paperwork, you have to you're going to receive it by email. You're going to download it, then you're going to edit it. It's Microsoft Word on pleading paper for the court paperwork. Yes, the numbers are supposed to be there. Okay, I mean, it's hilarious. People are like, Rick, how do I get the numbers off the paperwork? The numbers are there for a reason, guys. Every line has a number. Page 1, line 22, it says blah, 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 blah. That's the reason why it's there. It's court paperwork. I'm not going to provide you rinky-dink templates, okay? It's on court paperwork templates. And all you have to do is read it, and then I tell you where to add your name. It's in parentheses. Real simple. Okay? Real simple. Now, you're going to have to choose paperwork for your ideal situation. Okay? And I help you with that. I have instructions, and I'll tell you if this situation, you feel that you signed an agreement because they threatened you, they tricked you. Okay? It's fraud. If you feel that, I have paperwork for that to rescind your signature. Yes. If they're taking your income taxes, okay, it's called the federal offset. I have paperwork for that. If they're sending an income withholding order to your job, your employer, you have to challenge that. What they do is they provide the information on the income withholding order. That's what covers them. You're supposed to read it. You have to be a lawyer to understand it, but they don't care. You got to remember, you're dealing with some very unscrupulous people. This is a major business for the states. The states are not playing around here. The states are very, very aggressive, and they force a lot of women. They trick a lot of women into giving your information, and then once they have their Social Security number, you're gonna have a rough few years ahead of you, unless you start fighting these people. Okay, I'm just telling you the way it is, and there's a lot of horror stories out there. I had a rough few years. Okay, once you're in the system, it's rough, because what they do is the they had, you know, these I don't want to call them people because they're not people. They're creatures who work in the child support. They have absolutely, and I dealt with a lot of them, so I'm speaking from experience, and I'm also speaking from the experience of interactions I've had with subscribers who've used my paperwork, and they lie. Okay, they don't care if they ruin your life. They're not allowed to be nice to you, and from what I see, a lot of them enjoy it. Okay, so you're dealing with some nasty people. So you got to be one step ahead. You know, I have paperwork like interrogatories, where what you're doing is you're sending questions and demanding evidence from the child support agency. Now, and they almost always object to a claim and they don't got to answer it. But meanwhile, in their handbook, their federal child support enforcement handbook, they recommend using interrogatories to get information. So they have no problem giving you interrogatories. What interrogatories are questions, and also demanding evidence. They're allowed 25 interrogatories. Okay? Usually the interrogatories is for discovery of evidence. So you can understand why they would object to interrogatories, because we're asking them questions like, can I please see a copy of my signature on an agreement, on an obligation agreement, where I agreed to accept your services? Well, they don't have that, because first of all, they need that. So you cannot be called an obligor, and they call you an obligor right out of the chute. You can't be an obligor unless you agreed to a obligation agreement. You're obligated to pay. You made an agreement for repayment. But they know they don't have it. Most of the people that I've interacted with who use my paperwork, what they'll do is they'll send the interrogatories in, and then if they do answer them, they'll just send copies of the court paperwork, or what they'll do is then they'll start sending you paperwork asking you for your financial. What they do is they get nasty, like they try to intimidate you. Okay, these child support people, they act like they're a court. You know, they act like that there's some type of governmental agency when they're not. They're just a collection agency for the state. You know, for the city, state, county. But, you know, you're dealing with some unscrupulous people. And when you're dealing with them, I'm talking about the lawyers when it comes to interrogatories. Okay, but again, they don't have any evidence to prove that you owe anything, because your debt is created out of thin air. Child support was created for welfare mothers. That's what it was created for. So what they were doing, they created it for women on welfare receiving public assistance, and if the mother or the father has, children, they're going to ask, well, where's the father? Because in their mind, if the father was paying support, this person wouldn't be on welfare, which is bullshit also, because a woman could be receiving child support and still collect welfare. They all do it. Okay? And they'll say, well, where's the father? Well, whatever. Well, you can't receive welfare unless you provide information on where the father is. Then she or he provides information. Then you're gonna have to sign this agreement. It's the custodial mother, that's who we're talking about, who has the custody of the children, signs an obligation agreement on the 42 U.S.C. 660. And it's an obligation where she's obligated to sign over her support rights. So then the state takes over the collection. Now this is for women on welfare, but a majority of people I deal with, the mother's not even on welfare. So what they did was they took a small group of people who are on welfare, who are entitled, and under their procedures to receive child support enforcement. So then they took it and they forced it on everybody. So what it is, it becomes what's called a presumption. It's presumed that you owe child support. Then it's up to you to object and say, hold on a second, I pay my child support, the mother's not receiving public assistance, she's not entitled to sign over her support rights. And that's what they do. My paperwork does that. Okay? There are a lot of things that I provide. It's a lot of information. It's a lot of different scenarios. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to help you as best I can. Okay? Anybody trying to sell you a dream out there, they can get you your money back and they can get you off child support. Okay? If they're making you any guarantees, they're lying to you. Okay? There are some very dishonest people telling you they can get you off child support, they can get you your money back. It's very hard to get your money back. Okay? States do not like giving back money that they've taken from you. It's just the way it is. I'm just telling you the way it is. The best that you can hope for is to get them to stop. Okay? Is to get them to stop. What the problem is also these judges, these state judges work for the state. So their duty is to protect the state's money that they stole. Okay? So it's very hard to get a judge to say, oh yeah, okay, yeah, how much did they take from you? Oh, okay, yeah, okay. I'll write an order ordering them to send you the money back. It's trust me, it's not easy. And you're not going to be able to get a lawyer to do that either. Okay, there's no such thing as a lawyer that's going to help you with child support. That's all BS. They'll give you the illusion that they're going to help you, but they're also they get money from the state as well. Okay? The lawyers, they receive money for every time they con you into agreeing to pay child support through the state. Okay? So what they do is they double dip them. But they won't admit this to you. Just telling you the way it is. Okay? So, if you want to challenge child support, okay, you want to file paperwork before showing up for court. That's the best thing to do. You don't want to show up there without filing any paperwork. This is another thing. It's not your fault. You're not prepared to walk into a courtroom because you've never been there before. You're going to be nervous. They know this. So they're going to prey on that. They're going to prey on you being nervous and not knowing your rights. And they're going to bully you. But if you file paperwork before going to court, you have it on record that you demanded a trial by jury. You demanded to see proof of personal jurisdiction. You provided paperwork contesting jurisdiction. You provided paperwork proving you did not submit to the jurisdiction of the state. On paper, you said that you're a state citizen. You're not a non-resident. It's all on paper. It makes it difficult. A lot of people who get my paperwork, they have a hard time. They're getting a hard time of people accepting the paperwork. A lot of trickery going on, and that's because my paperwork is very strong. We're asking the right questions. We're making the right assertions. We're contesting the appropriate things. Contesting personal jurisdiction. Contesting jurisdiction. These are very important things that you must do. And here's the other thing. The trickery that they do. They send you a notice to appear, a summons, subpoena, whatever you want to call it. When you show up, they don't tell you that you should. Are you contesting the proceedings? They don't. Oh, ma'am, they don't do that. So by you showing up, also, if you submit paperwork and you don't assert in the paperwork that you are contesting jurisdiction, they are going to presume that they're presuming that you're waiving jurisdiction, and then you have submitted to the jurisdiction of the court. Okay? This is what you're dealing with. This is what my paperwork covers. Okay, if anybody is still watching this video at 16:45, I haven't made a video in a while, and I apologize, but I've been busy. It's the summer. I've been dealing with a couple things, but hey, I've posted a lot of videos. Okay, so there's a lot of information. All you have to do is go back and look at my videos. I've provided you guys with a lot of information. Okay, I just had helped another guy, took my paperwork, and he added a couple of things, and he was successful in whatever he was doing. I'm not sure what happened, but he was very happy. Let's just put it that way. All right, I have the email to prove it. And I've had people that have been successful. And not a lot of people, but I've had people. Okay, this is, again, I'm not lying to you. We're dealing with a very bad system. We're dealing with corrupt courts. Okay, that's just the way it is. And there's nothing I could do about that. It happened to me. Okay, it happened to me. But you have to assert your rights. You have to know your rights when you go to court. How do you learn your rights? Well, read your Constitution. The Constitution is where you get the rights secured by, supposedly. Okay, supposedly, because we're dealing with some crooked people, crooked lawyers, crooked judges, crooked judge surrogates, fake judges, who basically laugh at you when you assert your constitutional rights, which they're not allowed to do. But we're dealing with a very, very corrupt court system. That's just the way it is. Nothing I could do about that. Okay? You have to do something about that. You have to learn your rights. You have to understand that you have the right to a trial by jury in any controversy of $20 or more. Okay? On a state level, you have a right to a trial by jury. Every state constitution states you have a right to a trial by jury, and it shall remain inviolate. It cannot be violated. No violation. Inviolate. No violation. Okay? So that means it cannot be, it cannot create a state law to take it away. So a lot of times you go to court, if you assert it, they'll tell you, you don't have the right to a trial by jury in child support cases. That's bullshit. You don't have a right to a trial by a jury in paternity issues, because paternity issues are just paternity issues. They're just establishing DNA. Had nothing to do with money. So what they get, again, remember I said earlier, if you don't contest jurisdiction, they're going to presume you waived it. Well, what they did was they know that trial by jury in paternity cases is not warranted, because again, it's not a money issue, it's not a money controversy. But then they apply that across the board, and it's up to you to object to it. I have paperwork that does that. Okay, I've covered everything, guys. I've covered everything. Now the rest, it's up to you now. If you're interested, reach out to me at Rick, RICK0327 at me.com. Okay, again, your constitutional rights is the best way I can recommend that you arm yourself before you go to court. Okay, there's no child support rule, procedure, there's no state statute that can take away your constitutional rights. It's not allowed. And if all you have to do is say that. If they say to you, blah, 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 or this state, this law, this procedure, this ordinance, this code, all you have to say is, well, it's my understanding that my constitutional rights cannot be my rights, a state law cannot be created to take away my rights, my privileges. Okay? So that's what you got to understand. You can't lose your constitutional rights by a state law. All right? Look up case law Miranda versus Arizona. That's the Miranda warning. You have the right to remain silent, blah, blah, blah. What that was is the police created some type of procedure that violated some guy, prisoner's constitutional rights, and that's what started that whole thing. Okay? All right, so again, it's Rick, RICK0327 at me.com, and I'll talk to you guys soon. I'm going to make an actual video in the very near future, okay? Talking about meritorious defenses. A meritorious defense is defenses that protect you from child support. Okay, I just told you what a few of them are. Your constitutional rights. Okay, also there's other meritorious defenses like adjudicated fact, court decisions, and stuff like that. I don't want to get into that now. I'll go on for another 5-10 minutes. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.